Hello. This is the start of something new for me. I have nothing planned. I have no style in mind. I do watch a lot of cooking shows and YouTube channels, and this is pretty much a mix mash of everything combined together. There is no show direction. There's nothing actually really planned. This was just sprung on me by friends. So much that they even sent me ingredients to do. So let's get started. We're making cannolis today, and I don't really have cannoli molds, which are like metal cylinders that you wrap the cannoli in and fry with it. And what that does, it prevents the middle of the cannoli from filling up as you fry, and so you have the space to put the filling. I don't have that, and I tried different methods to kind of get the same result without having that mold. And I found no safe way to do it. And so we're going to bake them and create kind of bowls, cups, things. But the recipe is perfectly fine to use as with those molds, so if you do have them, feel free, or you have the time to actually order them, and feel free to use that recipe for that. So yeah, like I said, this was sprung on me randomly and all of a sudden, so nothing's really planned. I spent a day recipe testing and figuring out a method to do it. I couldn't do it safely, so we are here. What you're going to need is a cupcake pan or cannoli molds if you have them. You're going to need a bowl to mix the dough in. You need a cutter. For the filling, you're going to need a microplane, a small sift, and a bowl. Oh, and let's get started. So, we're going to start with the filling. Because you want to drain as much of the liquid as possible. So you're going to get your ricotta into the bowl and the small shift. And you just want to do that. If there's any liquid, and just let that sit in the fridge, draining as much liquid as possible. Okay, now onto the dough for the cannoli. What you're going to do is mix the dry. This is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And to that you're going to add a tablespoon of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of cocoa powder, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. That is all your dry. And then to that, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And what you're going to do is sort of like a pie dough. You're going to kind of rub in the butter, and you kind of want it like crumbly. You don't want long flakes. You want to break up the butter, crumble it up into the dough. This will be great if you have kids to do. Likewise, you could do this in a mixer, but you don't want to over mix this dough. Once the butter is pretty much crumbled up, you want to make a well in the flour. To that well, you're going to add an egg yolk, and then you're going to add Marsala, 1/4 of a cup Marsala, 1/4 of a cup of white vinegar. You want to add a little bit at a time. You don't want to pour all of it. because you don't know how wet or dry. So like sort of like a pie dough again. You don't want to pour all the liquid. You want to mix it up and see what happens. That's why I actually have some extra Marsala here on the side, just in case if I need more liquid. So yeah, and then you just want to form a dough. You're just gonna mix that together, form a dough. I think I'm going to need all the liquid, so I'm gonna dump that in. It's good to put on the counter. You just want to knead it until you form a dough. Okay, my dough is formed. Kind of flatten it out. Wrap it in plastic wrap, and then stick it in the fridge for 30 minutes. I will see you in 30 minutes. So I forgot to turn on the mic, so there's no audio for quite a while. And so here we go. After your dough has cooled, I still can't get over the fact I forgot to turn on the audio. But okay, yeah. So your dough has rested at minimum 30 minutes. It can go longer, it can go overnight. And then you just dust your surface with flour, grab a rolling pin, roll it out. You want it pretty thin. I have a stick, and then later on in the video you'll see that I changed to an actual rolling pin because the stick was too small. And then you roll it out pretty thin. I think I'm going to show you how thin I rolled it, but you just want it as thin as possible without breaking the dough. So, let's just say that. And then you just cut it out with your circles. You want it at least double the size of the circle that you have for the pan, and because you want it to wrap around on the pan, and you want to grease the pan, and you also want to preheat the oven before you get started on this to 375. And yeah, so enjoy whatever this is. What am I doing? Man. Yeah, there's me showing it to you right there. Not like you could actually tell from the video, but oh well. And then there's me cutting it out. I didn't get many circles. And you want to treat this like pie dough, so you want to work fast. Also, and you don't want to crumple up the extra dough. Oh, you want to keep it. You don't want to crumple it up. You don't want to mash it up. You want to flatten it out and fold it over each other if you want to roll it out again. And you probably should roll it out once or twice, and that's it. And then the scraps you can just chop up bake, fry, toss in some sugar, eat with the rest of the filling if you still have filling, and that's it. And then that's just me switching. I got roughly 7, 8, 7 out of these. So yeah. And then they're gonna go in the oven for about 7 to 10 minutes. I think they were in for 7 when I finally pulled it out and turned on the mic. So yeah, we're about to hit the oven, and then I'll see you on the other side. Okay, the mic was off. And so this was in the oven at 375 for 7 minutes. Pull it out. Look at that. These look done. We're gonna let it cool and rest, and then we're gonna make the filling. Alright, and we're back with the filling. So we got the cheese, which not much water came out of this one. And then so you have the cheese. We're going to add sugar to it. I forgot the cinnamon. We add a little bit of cinnamon along with the sugar. Sugar's about 1/4 of it. Need a little bit of cinnamon. Get that good mix with the hands. You can do this with the spoon. And then along to that, the lemon zest. This is a microplane. Add about half of this lemon. Okay. Mix that up. Mix it up. Then my mom doesn't like chocolate, so I'm going to put some of this into a Ziploc bag. This should just be ricotta. Without chocolate. And then we're gonna get some chocolate chips. And pour in a 1/4 cup right there. I'm just kidding. For the amount that I have, probably be a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, depending on the size. Just put in as many as you want. And then you put that in a piping bag, and you're good to go. Now you just wait for the shells to cool down, and then fill it. The cannoli shell is done cooling. I'm only going to fill in one because there's no one else here to eat it. You can prepare the shells ahead of time and then just fill it right before serving. And there's your cannoli cup.
Cheers. Pretty good. It's not going to be as crispy as if you were frying it. It's still pretty good. That's the video. Bye.